Hello Atmosphere members, I'm Dave Scott. I'm in my office. It does echo a little bit. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm just finishing up a long series of questions sent over by Dane, one of your sterling trainers there, a very fit guy, on weight loss. And I've had a couple of videos on weight loss, and I wanted to kind of finalize some of the questions that you had sent me. So I've got them up on the board here, and I'll try to go through these pretty quickly and hopefully give you some good ideas. First off, what type of training gets the best results? Wow, this is a huge question, but when I see athletes that are going into the gym and they're doing isolated exercise, for example, just bicep curls or tricep extensions, they're fine. But when we integrate full body major muscle groups, and those are done in combination, that reaps the biggest benefit. But they have to be done properly, and a lot of times when I see people doing major muscle movements, they don't have good form. So good form is a prerequisite. So when you combine your glutes and your quads, your whole core, which is the front and back, and you put your arms together and do a full body exercise. So just think of some of the simple ones that you see in the gym. Overhead squats are a great exercise. Squats themselves are a great exercise. Deadlifts are a good exercise. And again, a lot of those terms have ominous titles to it, but you can do them with good form and lightweight, and work with your trainers at Atmosphere, and they can show you those. So incorporate some of the smaller exercise movements, and I've gone over those when I've been out to Atmosphere in the last 2 years. But make sure that you're doing full body exercises as well, because that'll really rev up your system. Does resistance training aid in weight loss? Yeah, absolutely. It can segue from this last question. Once I start doing the weight training, there's a term called exercise post-oxygen consumption, EPOC. And that exercise post-oxygen consumption is elevated when you get out of the weight room. So you combine that with a little cardiovascular work and strength training, you can burn 10 to 25% of your calories post-exercise. So your system stays revved up. A lot of times when you do an exercise session, let's say you're doing it 3 times a week or 4 times a week, it'll stay revved up for 18 to 24 hours. So you kind of reap the benefits of this resistance training. And this is huge. And, you know, I see athletes all different ages, again, that sort of diddle-dally around the weight room, and they don't do enough heavier resistance. And I'm not talking about being a power lifter or Olympic lifter, but make sure you challenge yourself and you take the exercises to fatigue, not failure. Take them to fatigue where you have good form and think, well, I could do 2 or 3 more reps. And if someone has a whip on me, I might be able to do 4 or 5. But stop there. Don't try to press it beyond that. How do you increase your metabolic rate? Well, I just mentioned you can increase that metabolic rate in a number of different ways, just by doing the resistance training. But you can also rev it up when you actually, I'll say, starve yourself a little bit. And what I mean by starving yourself is try to eat earlier in the evening. In other words, don't eat late at night. And then if you have a 12 to 15 hour window before you eat breakfast again, that allows your body to produce high levels of human growth hormone and also testosterone. That increases muscle mass, but it also increases the ability to burn fat. So let's say I've got this big 15-hour window, and you do light exercise in the morning. You might go for a walk, and then you do your resistance training, hopefully have some food in that time block. But you have a block where you have a void without taking in food. And I will just say a couple other things. Don't graze all day long. It's one of the worst things that you can do for the hormone that's called ghrelin, and that makes you feel hungry. So make sure that you have a 2 to 2.5 hour window post-exercise where you don't eat, because that'll help you access, I'm talking about ketone bodies if you're following a ketogenic diet, a higher healthy fat diet, but it'll also help access those circulating blood fats, your triglycerides. So that's how you can increase your metabolic rate. Lastly, if you go out and walk or do exercise after you eat at night, even a gentle walk, that helps elevate your exercise. And I don't mean going out and run 20K after you finish dinner and then trying to go to bed because you're going to be too revved up. That's kind of silly. Okay, next question. Is it true weight loss is 80% nutrition and 20% exercise? Well, I don't even know how to look at percentages like that. You got to combine both of these. And so I never look at it as a percentage-wise, but nutrition is really huge. And for those of you that haven't seen any of the other videos that I've done, you should go back and review the one on the ketone bodies and eating higher healthy fats, because eating healthy fats will help you burn fat and increase lean muscle mass. And I'll just add one thing on this, is without being too technical. we have circulating blood proteins, and these blood proteins can be used as energy in longer term exercise, or if you haven't eaten in a while. But they also help rebuild muscle tissue. So there's one called L-leucine. And with a high-fat diet, several studies have shown that the L-leucine levels are staying elevated longer, which helps you recover and rejuvenate and rebuild muscle tissue faster. So I'm a big advocate of this ketogenic diet, eating healthier fats, reducing your carbohydrates. Those are the killers, and those are the ones that put on extra weight. The next question here, what is the ideal heart rate range while exercising for weight loss? Very difficult to say this because genetically we have programming. In other words, I could be at a heart rate at 150, another person the same age, working equally as hard, could be at 135 or 165. The important thing on heart rate is that the perceived effort when you're working hard is hard. Not moderate, but hard. And you're going to find that your heart rate really revs up when you combine 1 or 2 or 3 exercises in succession. So if you think of a block of exercise from 30 seconds to about 3 minutes, and you're sort of on a continuum, you're going to find that heart rate is going to catch up to the exercise workload. And you'll notice when you finish that, you're going to want to drop down on your hands and knees and take a few deep inhales through your nose and your mouth, and make sure you breathe through your nose and your mouth, and that'll help you recover. Allow that heart rate to rev up, but don't worry about the number. You can monitor that so you can look at it, and each of you are different. Last one, will you lose muscle mass in combination with fat loss? You should not. In other words, if you're eating a healthy, good quality protein, and this should be about 20 to 30% of your total calories in good, healthy protein, you're not going to lose muscle mass at all. In fact, you'll actually gain muscle mass. So with resistance training, a ketogenic diet, making sure you get good sleep, you're going to have very dramatic weight loss. And when I say dramatic, you probably notice that you can drop between 1 to 2 kilograms of weight initially, and then it'll level off to about 0.5 to 1 kilograms depending on your body size each week. Make sure that you're drinking enough water, but not an excessive amount of water if you're on this ketogenic diet. So I hope this series has helped you. I love your questions. Keep firing them at me, and I'll be back next month with hopefully a new battery of questions and a new topic.